G'day trendsetters, today I'm coming to you from the Largo Town Centre on the outskirts of Washington DC, taking a metro into Washington to conduct a city tour of all manner of interesting things within DC. Time to catch the next train. There's the ticket machine, just purchased my ticket. Now it's time to head over towards the track. This is the fun part, getting the bike through real fast. This is not my first time to DC. I've been in many times and I always take the metro in just because it's so convenient. And I'm travelling on a non-peak time of day, so shouldn't be too many hassles with the bike on the train and so on. So here's the system map. I am right there, so I can catch either the blue line or the silver line. And I'm going to take the train into Mcpherson Square, which is right near a lot of the monuments and so on. And here comes my train, leaving in 8 minutes.
Step back to allow customers to exit. When boarding, please move to the center of the car.
Silver. We're going to take this nice spot right here, plenty of room for the bike. You have to admit, this is quite a fetching look.
Step back, doors closing.
Time to leave.
Doors opening. Step back to allow customers to exit.
I got through without killing myself in the subway exit. Heading towards the White House, and this building right next door to me, just outside the exit of the subway, is the Department of Veterans Affairs, and I'm going to take the nice bike path right here. This city is an awesome place to ride bicycles. Well, this is interesting. You can't even get close to the White House. This is late November 2020, and there's a big fence erected, which is a real shame. Election here in the United States happened not long ago, and obviously, well, I don't discuss political issues on this channel and so on. Well, this blows. This is about as close as you can get to the bloody White House right now. What a bugger. Well, we're not going to squawk about it. Most of us know what the White House looks like. And I've shot a few photographs with my bike out the front in the past, so no worries. On the right here we have the Department of the Treasury. But have no fear, trendsetters, this tour is still going to be kind of cool. I mean, DC is, like I said, one of the most awesome places to ride a bike. It's so bicycle friendly. Well, on the positive, there's at least a nice Christmas display being set up over here. It's not a complete loss. Welcome to the ellipse. So behind me is the White House, shrouded, and there you can see the Washington Monument. So I'm going to cruise around here and continue my route. Here we are, a nice close shot of the Washington Monument. Check out the different colorations of stones they used to build this thing. Now I could do the cliche of going and touching it, but 10 bajillion people have done that before me. This is the World War II Memorial. Americans came to liberate, not to conquer, to restore freedom and to end tyranny. Hawaii, DC, New Mexico, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Florida, where I live, Arkansas, Maine, Illinois, Indiana, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine, Army Air Forces, Navy, Dog, Army. Watch out for the humans. I am wearing a mask. See this? Women who stepped up will measure the citizens of the nation, not as women. This was a people's war and everybody was in it. A day which will live in infamy no matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion. The American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. Here we are at the reflecting pool, which you can see has its name for an obvious reason. Here's the other end of the reflecting pool, Washington Monument in the background, and behind me, the Lincoln Memorial. This is about as close as I can get with the bike. I don't really feel safe leaving this bike here. Too many people around, get jacked. Wouldn't be too good, considering it's a review bike. Well folks, you'll have to take a gander inside the Lincoln Memorial yourself. You can see former President Lincoln sitting inside, but like I said, I can't risk leaving this review bike out here and don't have a lock and so on. Anyway, sorry about that. The Potomac River. Fun times crossing the road here. Got it. Nice little gap. Yeah.
Primero, que hacen hamburgers. Ya, Jack me encanta. Cada vez que ustedes vienen, él tiene que ir ahí.
United States Park Police with their horse trailer. Their horses are around here somewhere. Those trailers are unloaded. A memorial to the armed forces. about here somewhere. There is the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. This is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. This is the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. I recommend everybody visit this museum if they come to DC. It certainly is not a pleasant place to visit. Directly in front of me is the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. I just need to say, this is not going to be the most comprehensive tour of Washington DC, so if you think it sucks, well, get off your ass, make your own video and come and visit, because there is so much to see and so much to learn. On the right side we have the United States Department of Agriculture. And on the left side there are some of the Smithsonian museums that proliferate Washington DC. This is a legitimate piece of gravel trail you can ride right in the heart of Washington DC. Here's a really nice map of the National Mall. Directly in camera view is the Freya Gallery of Art, and they've got the National Museum of Asian Art happening there at the moment. If museums are your thing, this is a super interesting place to visit. This is the Smithsonian Institution, directly in camera shot. Directly in front is the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, and this is really worth a visit when it's open. On the right, unfortunately it's closed at the moment, is the National Air and Space Museum. Oh, hang on, it's open? What am I saying? Anyway, it's really worth a visit, as is the additional arm of that museum at the airport. I think it's the Dallas airport, I've forgotten exactly. There are museums basically either side of the mall. You can spend so much time in this city, easily a week, and probably not even scratch the surface. That is the National Museum of the American Indian. I think a lot of you will recognize the building directly ahead of me, the US Capitol building. This is where indeed the water feature directly out front of the Capitol building is empty. This is about as close as I can get, folks. Here's a different perspective of the Capitol building and the empty pool I fooled around in on the bike a moment ago. Back onto my proposed course as well. That's the Rayburn House office building. It is gargantuan. This is probably the best view of the Capitol building, at least on this excursion. Arguably, this is the best view from behind of the Capitol building. That is the Russell Senate Office building. I believe this is a Supreme Court building. It could be the Supreme Court. Equal justice under law. This is about as close as I can get today, folks. This building is the Jefferson Library of Congress. This building is the Adams Library of Congress. I've stumbled across the Florida House. Nowadays I am a Florida resident, have been for many years. If I had time I'd go inside and say hello. If you have to ask how much it costs to own one of these houses or rent one of these houses, etc., apartments, you probably don't really want to know. DC is a very expensive city to live in. This building is the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the US. This is the St. Joseph's on Capitol Hill Roman Catholic Church. Since 1868. Right roll. Well, this is Union Station. Absolutely stunning inside. It's very quiet. DC itself is very quiet, obviously. Well, coronavirus, and today is the Friday after the Thanksgiving holiday. A lot of people are not working today, myself included. I've got a day off my regular gig. I really need to take the Acela up to Boston. It's a pricey train, but I think it's a worthwhile experience. It's America's fastest rail line, which I think pales in comparison to the Shinkansen in Japan, which I have been fortunate to ride, or the TGV in France. I was very fortunate a couple of years ago to ride the C&O towpath canal, and I took a train back into Union Station. So this is where you purchase your ticket, or of course online and so on. And they've got rental car agencies as well around here. Now this is about as far as I can go. You need a ticket beyond this point and so on. But I am going to visit the dummy. On the roll. And virtually next door to the Amtrak Union Station is the National Postal Museum. A must-see if you're into the post office. Another view of the Smithsonian National Postal Museum. There is a National Guard Memorial. Police officer. This is the US Post Office, the National Capital Station, Dorothy I. High Post Office. This is a pretty serious post office. That dude's seen so many people doing this. You can only plan so much from Google Maps or road GPS or whatever, so like this part of my route is closed, so I have to circumvent that and take a plan B. That's the courthouse for the District of Columbia. Well, we're going beneath a building. It's a government building, I guess. Department of Labour. Notice no U, my Australian audience, missing the U. Just like colour, C-O-L-O-U-R. Well folks, I'm riding on a very famous section of road. This is Pennsylvania Avenue. right, all of you scofflaws. On the right, the FBI headquarters. J. Edgar Hoover FBI building, 935 Pennsylvania Avenue. National City Christian Church. The easiest way to get around Washington DC is with your humble bicycle. Plenty of awesome cycling infrastructure, and if you get your route wrong like I have countless times today, you can hop a curb and cut through a lane, no worries. Not so easy in a vehicle. There is the National Geographic Museum. I believe I'm approaching the Georgetown area. If I've got that wrong, be nice. Remember, I'm not a local. Apparently I'm in a back alley near Canal Square. Oh, look at that, it is Georgetown. My memory is not so wrecked after all. This is quite a trendy little area, this one, and I do know it's quite expensive. Well, that goes without saying in the DC general area. Here we are on the Potomac River, and there's a COVID testing site. Have to cross a bridge, means we have to climb some stairs. Okay, let's do this without crashing, hopefully. You get some good skills riding one-handed, holding a camera. No worries. Alright, we're crossing the Potomac River. Welcome to Virginia. Virginia is for lovers. What if you're into lust? Who knows? And onto a bike trail. Brilliant. I think I'm going the right direction. There's a little island over there. I'm going to head over, ride the bike and do a complete lap. I was planning on taking a lap of the Theodore Roosevelt Island, but someone has deemed that no bikes are allowed. quite the unique perspective from down here on this bike trail loaded with pedestrians. There you go, trendsetters. Backside of the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. Here's a quick look inside the Arlington National Cemetery. There are thousands of graves here. I'll roll quickly along the fence line. Oh yes, all these graves are marked. I don't know if I'm supposed to be riding on this road. I'm in the general vicinity of the Arlington National Cemetery. But I've got a big ass lane here, so hopefully I'll be okay. Yes, I think I've definitely wandered onto the interstate, so that's not too good. Oops. Well, I'm going to ride the side here and stay out of trouble and get back onto a bike path or something very soon. No worries, we're on a sidewalk. Bloody perfect. That is indeed the Pentagon across the road. Hopefully I can get over there in a safe manner. Figured out the way across, not a worry. And there is a closer view of the Pentagon, and there is a ton of Canadian geese hanging out over there. And this is the massive perimeter fence surrounding the Pentagon. We're on the outskirts of the Pentagon, and this is about as close as we're going to be getting. There's the Pentagon parking lot. There you can see the Washington Monument. It really stands out from the skyline of DC. Well, my cutesy cut through doesn't work because there's a big gate. It's part of the Pentagon reservation, no trespassing. So we're going to execute plan B here. Hoping to make my way over to DC proper. Here we go, I'm at the Lyndon Baines Johnson Memorial Grove on the Potomac. I'm heading in the right direction. I decided to stop my course. I was pretty close to the end, so I figure let's just wing it and get random. Chow time. Okay, I'm heading towards a bridge over here. We'll cross over the Potomac and hopefully back into DC-ish proper. Or else I'll be wandering around aimlessly until nightfall. Okay, we're back onto a bicycle trail. Brilliant. All of you locals are probably thinking, haha, you dumbass, you don't know where you're going. Well, that's true, I don't. Well, this wasn't the trail I was hoping for, or the bridge I was hoping for, but that's okay. Here we are, crossing the Arlington Memorial Bridge. Had to get a little bit creative to traverse it. The sidewalk was supposedly closed. And we're back over into DC proper. On the left there is the Federal Reserve. You might have heard of that. US Customs and Border Protection, which happens to reside in the Ronald Reagan building. This is the United States Department of Commerce. Department of the Treasury. And I know I've missed the mint. Here's where I started from today's tour, the Mcpherson Square Metro. So I reckon this is a good place to wrap up today's tour of Washington DC. Obviously I missed some stuff like the mint. Anyway, thanks for tagging along and thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos of stuff like this, city tours, product reviews of bikes like this, and other madness. I'll see you in the next video.